This is Dr. Derek Mahony. I'm here today to discuss the benefits of early interceptive orthodontic treatment and really to explain to parents what is the best age to bring a child in for a consult. The newer way to do orthodontics is what we've done for young Charlie here, is two-phase treatment. Now, two-phase treatment means that you get in early while the child's growing so that you can fix the problem, correct the bite, make the root, and then where you don't need to do a lot of work later on. Sometimes the child doesn't even need braces. If they do need braces, let's just say, it's a very short period of time, no teeth out, and the child's in and out of treatment for 6 months. So what I want to discuss is a real life situation so you can hear from the point of view of what the mum expectations were, how a young child copes with this thing. So let's have a look in Charlie's mouth. Charlie, just put your chin up for 1 second. You can see that nice broad arch form. That's what we call a Roman arch. And a Roman arch is a divine proportion, which means the width and the height are in a ratio of 1 to 1.618. And what looks good is actually functionally good as well. So you can see where there was no room for the canines. There's the canines there. These baby canines are pretty loose now. And Charlie's homework is going to be to wriggle those baby teeth, so as they fall out, the adult eye teeth drop in. Whereas in the old days, those adult eye teeth would have been stuck here if I didn't widen the upper jaw. So Charlie had the Mara appliance, and if you have a look at his analysis, it allows me to work out how far I wanted to bring his lower jaw forward. So these were the models of the teeth we did back in the old days. We had to put plaster in the mouth. Now it's a full digital workflow. So we're able to work out what's the best position for the teeth and the jaws. So we fitted the Mara, and then every 6 to 8 weeks, I think you were coming in, and we were adjusting the Mara, and we overcorrect. So we actually bring the lower jaw forward to an edge-to-edge position when it started with an overbite. Now, as we're doing that, the upper part of the Mara is doing the widening. So as a result, you're getting an improvement in the space. So once we've corrected the bite and made the root, then we put the braces on. And when I use the term braces, many parents think like full braces, but obviously a child at this age is too young for full braces. So what we do is partial braces. Partial braces is just 4 on the top, 4 in the bottom, and we'll have a look in Charlie's mouth in a minute so you can see that. But what the partial braces do is they guide the teeth that we need the room for into the space that we've already created. Now just bite for me, and you can see his overbite much better. If you look at the first photo, he had a big gap between his top and lower teeth. And the way we're maintaining that, Charlie wears elastics from these little hooks down to the lower brace. Open again there for me. And if we look in the lower, same thing. You can see the baby teeth about to fall out. They're quite wobbly, aren't they? Right? Yeah. So bite together again for me. So all going well with Charlie wearing his elastics as instructed, right, all the time. We should be able to get all these braces off for him within the next couple of months, which means the whole treatment has been just over a year, hasn't it?
Yeah, very short period of time.
And so that's what we say, if you can get the child at the right age and take advantage of growth, 1 year of early treatment saves you years and years of orthodontics later, and definitely avoids having to pull teeth out, which is silly when you think the child's got nice healthy teeth. It's just not that he has too many teeth or the teeth are too large, it's just his jaw's the wrong size. The two most common questions I get asked as an orthodontist by the parents is, do you think my child will cope with this? Do you think he's too young? Is it painful? I think one of the great benefits of orthodontics, it's the least painful part of dentistry. We don't use any needles, there's no drilling or filling, and effectively children can cope with this. And maybe, Charlie, I might ask you, we're going to show your appliance in a minute, right? What did it feel like when it first went in? This is that, remember the Mara that brought your jaw forward?
Well, for the first hour it felt a little bit painful, but after the Panadol kicked in, it was fine.
Good.
didn't notice it the time. Yeah, it was pretty good after that.
And then every time you came in, remember we adjusted a little bit more?
Yeah, so every time that it got adjusted, I felt it for a little bit, for a day or something. So
Yeah, probably a couple of days max, I'd say.
Perfect,
yeah,
perfect.
Not longer than that.
So one question I always like to ask young children when they're nearly finished their treatment is what their experience was like, because kids being kids are always worried about going to the dentist and the orthodontist. So maybe Charlie, if you had friends asked you about what your visits to the orthodontist was like, what sort of things would you say?
Well, everyone's kind of got this stereotype that the dentist and the orthodontics is like scary and stuff, but really there's no problem about it. Like, you get there, everyone's friendly and nice and stuff, but you don't get scared off, you get there, like, it's pretty good after that.
Well, that's good to hear, because remember, your Mara appliance is probably the most uncomfortable appliance to use, and if you've coped with that really well, it just shows you. I bet you when the braces were on, they were much less discomfort than
Yeah,
Mara.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
If I can ask you, Beth, from a parent's point of view, from memory, you were referred to me by Dr. Kipros, who's an
Yes.
excellent dentist and understands early treatment, and when to refer. Well, what did he say to you before he referred you to me? Did he talk about what his concerns were?
He had a lot of concerns, and a huge one was Charlie's breathing, and he was almost apneic as well at night time, so that was a big concern. The one thing that he did explain was that the earlier you go and see someone about it and get some advice, the better.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit apprehensive about that at first, but I am so glad that we did come here and have some early intervention.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And from your experience when you first met me, and obviously I would have talked around these things, but we didn't have the full records to make the accurate diagnosis. What were your expectations? What were you thinking would be? Were you a little bit unsure whether this would be the right age to do the treatment and whether this would actually turn out? What were your thoughts in that regard?
Well, I actually had braces for 4 years, and I was a little bit traumatised from that. It was a long time and lots of dental work when I was younger. And I really feel that if I had had them put on earlier, then I wouldn't have been in high school and still having braces as well. So that was one thing that we decided, that we didn't want Charlie going to high school with braces. We wanted to get it sorted. He's also really into sports, so we find that, especially basketball, we wanted to get it over and done, sooner rather than later, so he doesn't have any injuries from that as well.
And I think the confidence of going into high school, because you're in year 5 now, right?
Yeah.
So you'll be well and truly finished in your retainer, you have this beautiful broad smile.
I think to start off, it was a holistic approach, as you said. We got a folder, so it had all of the information in it. What do we expect at this week, and pretty much everything has gone right to plan. And then, so it's usually every 4 to 6 weeks you come in and have some tightening and some work done, take a few photos, and really when you're looking at his teeth all the time, you don't see much change, but reviewing those photos, they look fantastic. The other thing, I've had a lot of people message me, all my family are interstate, so I post a lot of photos on Facebook, and they just say, Charlie's got the most beautiful smile. So yeah, he had a beautiful smile before, but it's a really beautiful smile now.
The message is to, if you're not sure, get a second opinion. Talk to parents, talk to your dentist, and ask them what's their experience if they've referred early versus late. But for resources, watching this video, feel free to send me an email. I'm happy to send you some articles that explains this process. We all want to do the best for our kids, and the best for our kids is to do interventive treatment rather than wait and do the aggressive treatment later on. So thanks again.
Thank you.